Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo.
Hello everyone and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I am your host Stephen White and with me is Todd Stark.
Hello.
And John Taylor.
Hey there everybody.
Guys, how have you been?
This is better than John. What was that intro?
Hey there everybody.
Yeah.
You don't like it?
If I was in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, I would love it.
I'm just being nice.
I don't like you.
Yeah, you guys, let's get our energy pumping. Let's talk about some games, man. If y'all got anything you want to talk about. I've got a few stories, if I may start us off.
Please.
Go ahead.
What about, did either of you hear about the Atari Box?
Ah.
The Atari Box. This is hypothetical. This is the rumor is this is from VentureBeat. It's where I read this. It said the Atari Box will run on PC. However, it is strongly implied that it will be a retro games console.
See, so like it'll play old Atari games.
That's the rumor. Maybe like an NES Classic or the
right,
something like that.
Because I've heard the opposite. I've heard it's a brand new console.
Okay, see, it's conflicting reports because I've seen things like that too. So, yeah. What do you think it will be? Now, I believe to do a retro console wouldn't be a bad idea.
Right.
But at the same time, do they really have games that would warrant that?
You put fucking Pitfall on it and I'm playing it.
Yeah. Now, Pitfall, yeah, I'll definitely bite into that.
You just have
is
one game.
Is it going to have like
Pitfall.
cartridges? Its own cartridge? Or is it just going to be like a...
I would assume it's going to be just one massive collection of Atari games.
And it better look... Well, didn't they a few years ago? Or am I just... Like, was it somebody else that put out the one that looked exactly like the Atari 2600?
There have been other companies putting out those where it's the plug and play,
right?
But they've been very low quality. They've not been up to par. And if this is supposed to be what it's supposed to be, this will be that higher grade Atari style console where they're actually taking back their games and putting out something better.
Yeah, I mean, they still make a
which
few
is funny
games,
to say
right?
about an Atari.
I was about to say, how can you make an Atari game better?
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, a new Pitfall? I mean, I know they had it on...
Pitfall and Pitfall 2, I would gladly put the money down for.
But did they not redo it on Nintendo, the Super Nintendo?
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
No, I believe they did. Super Pitfall, remember that?
Right, yeah.
We played it. We had it.
That was made, but Atari put it out, am I right? Like, was it their game or did somebody else?
I don't
have the
know.
rights
I think that might have been a different company. I don't think it was them.
Somebody else owns the rights to Pitfall.
Could be.
Maybe.
Well, man, I mean, like, just here's $25. Make me a new Pitfall.
If that.
Game. Yeah, but and E.T. It's got to have E.T.
Yeah, we got to have E.T.
Just
because everyone
have y'all
wants
ever played that?
It's terrible.
It's garbage.
But, come on, it was, to be fair, it was like every single Atari game.
Garbage.
They made it in, 4 nights?
Yeah.
So,
if
that. They made that in a week, am I right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, too. It's like, I think I read it was, they were rushing to get it out before when the movie was coming out or something.
Right.
It's like
and
a last minute, like, hey, make us a game.
And the guy that made it was like one of their big developers, am I right?
Yeah, that's right.
He was, and he didn't really... Well, I mean, not to say that he didn't want to make the game.
But it was a hack job to be done in a certain amount of time that you just have no plan to do anything. You don't know what to do. Right. So he just rushed it out, whatever he could.
Right. I mean, honestly, the guy did okay.
For a rush job.
Right. I mean, it was going to be a cash grab anyway. It was E.T. Mm-hmm. Everybody freaking loved E.T. I loved E.T. Cried when he left.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want him to phone home.
Disappointed.
John, you weren't even old enough to watch E.T.
I wasn't, but I watched it.
Oh my God!
Later.
Did you ever seen it?
Yeah.
Okay,
I watched it later in life.
Gotta make sure he's seen E.T.
I mean, because he didn't even play Fat Santa Dude, and he's like, I don't remember this game.
Well, it's okay.
That was
it's okay.
before my time.
He'll have his day. He'll have his day for his retros.
Like Atari 2600, I was too little, so I missed that. But I did play all those games. I went back and played them.
I did too. My uncle had one, and I played it.
Did you play all the Nintendo games?
I mean, all the Nintendo
All of
games.
them?
There's only like 1 million, so yeah.
Did you
I
play at
them
least 500 of them?
all. I played 1,000.
John, shut up. You have been on my nerves since we got here to the Cafe of Megapixel. Like, the Palace.
Palace of Megapixels.
Well, I'm
Man,
at the
do you not
cafe.
know where we are?
Spit it
hot.
out, dude.
But anyone who doesn't know, just in case, to clarify to any listeners who may not know about Atari and their troubled history, is that they were purchased by a European publisher in 2001 called Infogrames, and they filed for bankruptcy in 2013. They've not been in the console game for a long time.
Right.
In fact, it's been, since the Atari Jaguar, I think, was the last one that I remember. And that was maybe, a 32-bit?
Yeah, it was something like that. What, early 90s, late
Yeah.
80s? Yeah.
Something like that. So, they've not
cost
been in
like
the...
$600, am I right? It was expensive.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I mean, they've been trying to focus on mobile games and things like that. They still have a name, but I don't feel like it's a name that carries like it used to.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think whenever you hear Atari, I don't think that you attached it to a game automatically.
No.
It was to the console, even though they did make a lot of those
right,
games.
if anything like that ever happened in Nintendo, that would be what would happen, I believe. People would remember the consoles, not
Right.
and obviously the characters to go with it, but the console itself would stand out.
But I think that after 2 years, everybody would forget that and go, okay, they got Mario, they have Metroid, they have this, that. You know, I think that would be the company that could really get past that.
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Much like Sega, all anyone can ever think about
has
is
done it, yeah.
Sonic.
Right. I
know,
don't. They have done other games, but I
Yeah.
can't think of them.
I can't even remember.
What the? Those are. Do they don't do a fighting game? Do they do a fighting game?
They might have one, but I couldn't tell you what
I
it is.
can't remember either.
All right. Well, despite that, do either of you guys have any news?
I have. I wanted to talk about Cuphead for a second. I seen an ad about the developers for Cuphead. They all, I guess, they believed in this game so much. You know, it's been a while since you see it. I guess they talked about it when they announced the Xbox One, I think, or maybe the E3 after that, if I'm not mistaken. I could be
I
totally
do recall
wrong.
it had a presence at E3.
Yes. Okay. So, and it's been a while.
Yeah.
So where's that game? They keep talking about it. They keep showing. I think it's been playable at a couple of E3s now, maybe, or some kind of shows. But it's close to release here. I think at the end of this year, maybe beginning of next year, if I'm remembering right. I can't remember exact date. But these guys, a few of them, like I guess the developer and his brother, they quit their jobs and they remortgaged their houses just to finish this game. And that to me shows a lot of what indie developers go through and the passion that they put into their games, and sometimes why their games to me shine more than a AAA title that has no heart. It's a great game, but it has no heart. Like to me, I look at Cuphead and I remember sitting in my grandpa's house or my grandma's house, waiting for some, apples, cut me a damn apple up, and watching this old Mickey show, and that's what I feel like when I look at that, and it feels like it has a pulse, it has a heartbeat, and I want to play this game. I will never get to play this game probably.
And I do recall that was one of those Xbox titles that I mentioned a few episodes back that I would love to play. I would really want to play it because I love the art design of it. It does have that old school style, like an old Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Yes.
That intrigues me enough to want to play it.
Right.
Art style, as we've said before, it can sell a game. I think it'll take it a lot of places because if it looks good, you're sucked into it. You want to play it. And this is definitely one of those games. I love the art style. I want to play it myself.
I just hate when, I want to know how many people look at this game and they go, oh, it's an indie, and they write it off. I know Microsoft's pushing it. They need to push this game. If they don't push this game, they are, for a better word, lack of a better word, just stupid. And that's just other mistakes that they've made. This needs to be on the forefront of whatever they're trying to do, because I've heard things like this game is unforgivingly hard. I want to at least see it. I'm ready for it to come out. I want to hear more about it. It's just a testament to indie developers that these people believed in this game enough to quit their job and remortgage their house. Because it's not only quitting your job, they remortgage their house, and if something falls through, their house is gone. So they believe in this game enough to do that. And I don't know, I wish more AAA games had that heart.
I feel like it could be a console seller if
Yeah.
pushed right.
Yeah.
And
It really
indie
could.
game or no, I mean, indie games have power if they just if companies they really push them. The publishers get involved and they really push these games. There's so many great ones out there, and we'll talk about them in time, I'm sure.
Right. I mean, just to off that point you just made about pushing that. Think about when PlayStation 4 first came out. Dude, I just remember they pushed the hell out of Resogun.
I pushed a lot of indie games.
Yeah, I mean, and I
was
think
a big
that,
thing.
you know, like I've heard reports here lately, you know, they're not that they're not important, but they're not in the forefront as they were before. Now the big games are starting to come out and they're first-party studios. You have to push those games. You know what I mean? Or you're not doing yourself justice. But at first, I mean, I remember PlayStation got, you know, just smacked around for being the indie station. You remember those, all that crap? And every month you got a new indie game with your PlayStation Plus subscription, it seemed like. And dude, if they want AAA games during those, you know, PlayStation Plus months, you know, fine. Give me one AAA game, but give me one of those indie games too. I love those indie games.
And I think that's the best place for them is for Microsoft and Sony to really push them in those free moments, because who else is... It's a hard sell sometimes for an indie game because you don't know who the developer is unless they've got a following out there. Curve Digital, I know they're one that's got Stealth, is one of their games.
Oh yeah, Stealth Incorporated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know they've got tons more, and I'm drawing a blank on it right now, but they've got a library, and when I see them, I'm like, oh, okay, I know who they are. They've got a name now. They might be indie, but they have a name. And I know that it might actually be a good game to try out. So I might be more willing to give them money versus a developer I don't know, despite all the things I may have heard.
Right.
So to put it in a freebie, let me check it out. Let me see if this developer's worth my time, and I'll gladly play it.
Yeah, and they get a big chunk of money up front for those PS Plus if their game is on there. And to me, that's a great service for those guys. They get the money up front. It kind of takes a lot of stress off of them, I think. And a lot of them, after they get that money, they don't just stop and rest on it. You know, they go and they make like some DLC. And if you're getting your game out to 1 million people that easy because of it being free, hey, they could come back and buy the downloadable content if it's a good game.
Yeah.
And for the most part, Sony picks those good games to put on those. I don't
think I've ever been disappointed.
I haven't, man. I
playing one.
A lot of people get disappointed with the selection. I haven't been.
I'll even admit there are times that I'll see an indie game that they may have chosen that maybe just doesn't interest me.
Right.
You know, but that doesn't mean I won't look at it, give it a shot. If it
Right.
seems like something I might want to play, sure, I'll give it a shot. But there are times, I'll look at it and be like, nah, it's just not my bag, and that's fine. You know, at least it might be someone else's,
Right.
and you should at least give it a shot.
Well, what about Housemarque? Is that the ones they make like Dead Nation, Resogun? That's just you were talking about a library. When you see Housemarque made this game, dude, I just immediately it's going to be good. It's going to have quality. It's going to have a AAA polish from an indie studio because. Man, they put stuff on that screen. Like, when stuff in the Resogun blew up, man, it blew up into the tiniest little chunks. It amazed me. And I'm like, you know what? Like, nobody realizes it. That's next gen. When you see that on the screen, that's next gen. And I think a lot of people write that off. And just the fact that they can do that, I'd like to see, like, you know, they're not even bought, you know, Sony doesn't own them. They're not a first-party studio, even though they make games for them first-party. I would love it if Sony would approach them and buy them and say, "Hey, do this, do that. You know, look, here's the order. Do the order.
Yeah.
What would you do with that? You know, because if their name's on it, I would trust it to be high quality, and I'm excited to have it. Like they just got what's that one called out that they just got Next Machina.
Yeah.
Have you played it?
I have not.
It's got really good reviews. I've seen 8s and 9s. I haven't played it. I just realized, you know, the other day it was Tuesday. I didn't even know it was Tuesday. New games came out, but I started seeing reviews for it. So that's one I'm going to definitely check out here pretty soon. John, what about you? You going to check anything out?
Yeah, it's this new game that's come out. It's an alpha. It's called SOS: The Great Escape. Y'all don't even know about this.
No, I don't.
I have no
have
idea what it
computers,
is.
so.
Please do tell.
All right, I'm just reading this off the webpage because it's so new. Not anybody hardly knows anything about it, but it's an alpha and people are playing it. The goal of SOS is simple. Find a relic, signal for extraction, and escape on a helicopter. With 16 contestants and only 3 seats on the helicopter, you'll need to outthink, outrun, and outfight your opponents.
That is intense.
I'm scared. I don't know if I'm going to spot on that helicopter.
Use the power of your own voice and personality to create bonds with other contestants and the audience. Statistics show contestants that work together have higher rate of survival than those who don't. And that's pretty much all they got. Anyways, it's one island, which the island is huge. Like, it's humongous.
Like, compare it to a size of...
Far Cry.
Really? Which one? Don't know.
3.
Small.
Okay, maybe a little bit.
I mean, that was sizable.
It's 16 people.
I mean, for 16 people on something, that's pretty big.
Yeah, it's sizable.
So it's a deserted island.
Deserted island. Well, it's not. It was inhabited. There's old bases and like camps and stuff on there. That's how you get your weapons and.
So is this a fight it out?
Yes, it is a battle royale game.
Oh, so it's not like Survivor and then they all go vote somebody off the island?
No.
Okay.
All right, it's one island, 16 contestants. There's a 30-minute time limit, which I'm assuming in later time. Well, you can shorten it and make it longer if you wanted to.
No, it needs to be 30 minutes.
And there's a maximum of 3 survivors.
Okay, now you see, he just sold this game to me because why not? Why not make that battle royale like the book and the movies?
What? Yeah.
You could have, if you could make it 40, but granted they may have limitations, but
I like
hell,
the 16.
put 40 people on an island and you have to kill each other. Last man standing, and you're the winner.
But you know
That'd be
what? Right
fantastic.
now there's about 5 games like that coming out.
Yeah.
And then this one does sound different, though.
It is way different.
If you're on an island deserted and it's
Right.
pretty big open world, yeah, I'm all in.
It's not completely deserted. There's
Are there
some
Indians?
type of monsters
native.
on there. Some type of
There's a
monster.
monster?
Wendigos is what they look like.
Wendigos.
Wendigos. Whatever.
What a Wendigo?
Wendigos?
It's a Winnebago.
That's a Wendigo.
Anyways, they're scattered around the map. There's little babies and the adults, and then the relic holders.
Well, who's got the relic?
The monsters. The relic holder
So
monsters.
it's not completely just against them, but it is.
Yeah.
It's them and others.
Yes.
Oh, I
threats.
see what you're saying. Like, okay, that's where the team part comes in. Because apparently
If you
these
wanna
things are
work
going to be
together,
pretty strong.
You can work together, but you
Right.
don't have to.
You can.
You-
You,
You
but
could work
need
together
to.
up to the end to betray them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I
I'll
said,
shoot
there's
you right
only a
in the back.
3-person win limit.
I
Only
will
3
hit you.
people can win.
I will hit you with my bamboo.
And you can
pole.
have, I guess you can have, as far as I can tell, you can have as many friends on there as you want to. You can team up. That way you can talk to each other
Right.
and kind of see where everybody's at.
Well, I mean, it's part Survivor, part Battle Royale,
Mm-hmm.
part whatever. I like what I'm hearing, though. I mean, the way you read it.
From what I
would've
saw,
bought right
it
then.
looks really fun. Really fun. And it's, I don't know, if you get hit by the monster so many times, one of the monsters, you get infected. So then you got the infection running around on top of you.
H1N1, H1Z1.
Yeah. There's antidotes around the island, but there's so many monsters, the antidote just kind of stops it for a little while until you get hit again.
Okay, now
But
here's
you
my
can
question.
slow down the infection by eating the mushrooms that are surrounding. It'll slow it
Jesus
down.
Christ, here's my question right now: is there too many genres in this game?
Too many
It
genres.
does seem a little cluttered, but it could work.
It could work, yes, but could it also suffer from too many genres? Like right there, I mean, there's 5 different games in there.
No. I'm, you know, the way I sound, I guess making it sounds like it's
John,
all
you
so
sounded
many, so on
exactly
top
like
of
it needed
that.
to sound.
But
I
it, like I said, it's a huge island, huge.
That
and you
does not
and
change
when you
the
first
fact that there's 5 games in it.
on the outside of the island, the monsters aren't as as popular. But the closer to the middle you get, where the relics are, there's more and more monsters that you got to fight off. And of course, the closer you get to the middle, that's where you find the better weapons.
They always put them in the middle.
Yeah, that's where you got to go. That's where everything's at.
No, what was this called again?
SOS: The Great Escape
SOS: The Great Escape.
is an
Isn't
alpha
there one
on
called The
PC
Great
right
Escape
now.
already?
Had
a little fat guy and a little skinny guy?
There is.
I did look it up. There is also an SOS game made on the SNES in the 90s. I'm not
So
sure
maybe they're
anything
taking
about it,
liberties
but
with their names. Maybe it's not a final.
Could be
That's
the
probably
same.
why. That's probably why they put the Great Escape on there to kind of make it.
Oh, ripping
stand out
off
a
two
little
Yeah.
Pretty
There's
easy.
also there's 6 games in this game. Now we're going to rip off the name of 2 other games.
There's also a game called SOS, and it's like a pencil and paper game. You literally like draw a grid, put SOS in it. I don't know how it works. When I typed in
Don't
SOS,
even talk about that game.
I'm just saying. I don't know how it
I'm
works.
just saying, John.
But apparently that's a real
embarrassing
game.
Me.
What I do?
I don't know. I like to say that to you every week.
All right, so we were talking about this last time, and we finally got confirmation about the Super NES Classic coming out on September 29th.
Be trying to get that.
We
I
have
say
our
try.
and we have a list.
Won't.
I cannot believe that we missed some of these,
I know.
and some of them
yeah.
I'm actually surprised at. So I'd say for the most part, we knew Super Mario World was going to be on there. Star Fox, I think we said would be interesting. Star Fox 2 being
That-
unreleased.
That's the big deal for
That
this.
is
pretty
huge.
sweet.
That's
Yeah.
going to be the console seller, not just to sell it, but to scalp it.
Right.
Because
exactly.
once they get it out there on the market and then they say, no, we're going to take it back, where else are you going to play it unless you emulate it? And if this is Nintendo's final version of the game, it's not going to be any other version you've ever seen
Right.
because it's previously unreleased.
I mean, and if there was already something released of that, we would have heard that a long time ago.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have already been emulated,
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Zelda, obviously, I think we
Right.
knew that was going to
I
be
want that
a
one.
possibility. Donkey Kong Country was a possibility. Contra 3 was interesting.
I love that game.
Oh, I love that game.
Yes.
That was a household favorite at my
Dude,
home.
is there one part where you can hang on to you're hanging on these like rails and you're going down and shooting? Am I right?
Oh, dude, there's all kinds of stuff. Like they're shooting literally missiles off a helicopter, and you're jumping from missile to missile, shooting an alien
okay,
spaceship.
Yeah, it's the same game I remember.
Earthbound, I think, should have been a given. They've been pushing that a lot lately. I know that was a big deal when it got released on the
Yeah, I've
virtual
never played that,
console.
so I'm excited for that one.
It is fun. I've played it once, and it's been a while, but it was very fun. A good little RPG.
Right.
F-Zero was one I was
love-
really surprised at that
One
I
of my
didn't think about.
Favorite racing game.
Yeah, it's got a great soundtrack. I don't know if you remember that or not. Final Fantasy 3 I thought was an interesting choice, but it's Final Fantasy 6 in the series, but Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo.
Right.
It's a fun game. I liked it. Kirby should have been a given, but I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
Mega Man X was interesting.
I remember that.
Mega Man X is probably one of my favorite Mega Man games. Played it numerous times. I remember it being very hard as a kid, but now I can barrel through it like it's no problem. And I love that I can do that now. It makes me feel good. Secret of Mana was another one.
I
that,
love that game.
that was a very interesting game, and it should work. They need to make sure that you have 3 controllers so you can play with 3 people. That's a
I think
disappointment.
it comes with 2, right?
It comes with 2,
Yeah.
but for a game like that, you need 3.
At least it comes
How do you
with
do
2.
it with 3?
Yeah.
I think. How did they do
I don't
that?
remember that
I
game.
don't think they did that. I think you dreamed that.
No. You had 3 characters, and you could play with 3 people. But how you do it, I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
They
See,
may
I
have
had
had.
that
they
game.
did-
It may have been one of their peripherals that they added on. Like I know the Nintendo
Yeah, I was
had
about to
one
say.
where you could plug up 4 controllers.
Yeah, I was
Because
about
you
to say
remember
that.
Nightmare on Elm Street? That shitty ass.
Oh
It was
my
probably one of the very
God.
first games that you could actually do 4 people
I
playing.
forgot about that game.
Yeah.
I was about to say they probably had like a little
Yeah, it
extra
was in one
controller
plug
slot
and you had the
deal.
strips in front of it, right?
Yeah.
LGN, man. Classic game makers. Kappa. Street Fighter 2 should have been a given, I think.
That's hyper fighting. It's not.
Hyper fighting. Where do you think we get our turbo from?
That's right. Super Mega Crash Brothers Hyper Turbo.
Super Castlevania 4, I should have thought about
Is
that
that
one
on
too.
there?
Yeah, that's on there.
Okay, good, because I had read something that it wasn't going to be on there.
No, it was on the list, the official list. And I'm in for that one. I loved
Yeah.
playing that one. That was a great game.
No, I love it.
Super Ghosts and Ghouls was a bitch of a game.
Oh my!
All those games
One
are
of those
terrible.
games. Yeah.
They're
They're
hard.
so
You know,
yes,
they're fun, but
you
they're
talk about unrelenting. Like Cuphead's supposed to. That's the original
the-
right there.
How about you
hardest
get
game in
through
the
that
world.
game, the original one? You don't even know nothing
I
about it,
played it.
John. No, you
I've
didn't.
played it.
You didn't play any Nintendo game. You get all the way through it and you beat it, and it's
You gotta
like,
play it again.
oh, just shut. Spoiler alert! You have to go back to the beginning and then beat it again to actually get into hell.
Which is impossible. I don't think nobody's
Yeah.
ever done that.
No, dude.
You
How
had to
about he
cheat.
runs around in a loincloth? He looks a little bit like Jesus. And then you're just dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a brutal game. I remember that. Super Mario Kart was one we didn't mention,
Love
which
that
we
game.
should have.
Should have
Jesus.
known.
Yeah,
Should've
we
known.
should have known.
Yeah, we should have known that. But in all fairness, we were just talking between us and speculation. It was not even confirmed yet.
That's very true. That's very true. Super Mario RPG. If you've never played that, that was a fantastic game.
Yeah.
Now this was like a precursor to Paper Mario,
Right.
but SquareSoft actually did this one, and it was a fantastic RPG.
Right.
Very well done, and it's just definitely one that I would want to have if I got that.
That was a hard game to find too, was it not?
Yes, it got to be very rare at one point, and then when they released it on Virtual Console, it was another one of those. It was like, oh, finally,
Right.
Because it was very hard to come by.
That was the very first RPG type game like that I've ever played. Confused the crap out of me.
Dragon Warrior was mine.
Oh,
I got it with Nintendo Power.
Dragon Warrior. Super Mario World we mentioned. Super Metroid was another one we should have remembered.
I think I've got that one. So.
Super Punch Out.
God, yes. That's the one we
seen
talked
that.
about earlier in the week. He's like, I didn't see it on there, and then you read it again. And he's like, it was on there. So I was like, yay! I fist pumped when he said it, and I hit the umbrella. It hurt.
All excited. Yeah. And then Yoshi's Island was the last one I think it was on that list that makes out 21 games. I don't know if y'all remembered Yoshi's Island. The one thing I can remember that
it come with the retro SNES that they did. We got that one.
Mm. It had the infant Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
And if he fell off your back, he'd start crying very annoyingly.
Yeah, you had.
I'll put that sound effect in there for people. Because it was like
there were some levels it was constantly he was crying because you get hit so many times.
And at some point, a part of you is be like, oh, I feel so sorry for him, and then you hear it enough times, you're like, just shut up.
Who was crying, Mario?
Mario or Luigi, whoever.
I need a milk.
Yeah, those several times I just said, you know what? Get him, you little flying dudes. I don't even know what they were. Flying Koopas, just get him.
What if you left him? Could you just abandon him?
Then it was game over.
Because
I think it was like 10 seconds.
It was 10 seconds is like the minimum. The max was 30, and I think you got something little stars.
Yeah,
that increased the time. I think
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd drop him off at a Catholic church.
It was I guess when I first saw it, I saw some stats about some Mario games, and that was, I think it said the worst selling. But to me, it was pretty fun.
It was a fun game.
Yeah. I guess because it come out at the time of the end of the SNES.
It did. And I think they even marketed it at some point as Super Mario World 2. It was like their little subtitle right up at the top to try and push it.
If you rank the Mario Brothers, which game would be your favorite? Mine would be Super Mario World. I think.
Now, are we just talking about 2D or are we talking about
just
3D?
Any of them? Because Mario World would be my favorite out of all of them.
Well, if we, I honestly feel like 3D and 2D kind of classify differently. Because if we're saying them all, I'd have to go with Super Mario Galaxy.
Okay, that's yours.
Definitely one of the top games that they've ever done.
Right, and I've heard that from a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
That and Mario Sunshine comes up. Some. Yeah. But to me, man, I don't know why. I think that I dug into that because I started finding a lot of secrets. And that was the first game I remember having a lot of secrets.
Oh, yeah. Two exits to about everything.
You could go through the Star World and go back and do those 12 just outlandishly hard levels and then get into the fall. And all the Koopas were like Mario Brothers.
Had little pumpkin heads and everything.
And they would have like Mario heads.
Mm-hmm.
I went through and did that. I was the only one of my friends that did that.
Yeah, I remember doing that.
It was great.
It made you feel good once you accomplished it.
Yeah, I think that's why that game. I hold that up on a different pedestal. I didn't have a 64. I never played Mario 64, and I know a lot of people like that because it was the first 3D one, and
it was terribly hard.
It did have, it brought a lot to it. For being a 3D game, it was definitely the best of its time.
Right.
Because it did something that nobody else did at the time.
Right. I was going to say there wasn't a whole lot of 3D games then.
No. And it really opened the door for that type of game. And I think, funny enough, I remember hearing this just recently, is that Crash Bandicoot, I think, came out around the same time.
They're out today.
They're out today.
Yeah. And it got overshadowed because Super Mario 64 was such a better game, in a manner of speaking, but it just brought so much to it where it was not a linear 3D game.
Well, Sony was just starting their console. I had at that point jumped ship and went to Sony. I had Crash Bandicoot, and those first few I would give it to Mario. It was. And of course, Naughty Dog made freaking Crash Bandicoot, so that's what's crazy.
And you see how far they've come. So.
Yeah. So that gives me hope with a bunch of those indie developers like that. That's why I want Sony to approach Housemarque and say, "Hey, here's some money, be under our umbrella. you've made all the Dead Nation. What if one day they make the next The Last of Us or the next Uncharted? You know what I mean? Like that style game that really changes everything. That's what's in these indie developers. I know I'm getting off subject. We're talking about something else, but that's what is in those. That's in those developers and in those studios. That's there.
Yeah,
it just has to be pulled out. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
One other thing I wanted to bring up, because I was reading about this, and I think we briefly touched on it when we were talking about E3, was the PlayLink on PlayStation 4. I know there was an announcement that on July 4th they were actually going to start that and give you a free game.
Was it This Is You?
That's You.
That's You, yeah.
They said if anyone listening is unfamiliar with PlayLink on the PS4, it's going to combine your smartphone or your tablet with your TV and your PS4. Right. Download, what is it? They've got an app, PlayStation app. If you already have that on your phone or your tablet or something like that, you're already pretty much ready to go.
Right.
And it'll turn your smartphone or tablet into a versatile controller, where you can doodle and pinch and drag and what have you. That You is the game that's going to be coming out on July 4th as the promotion for this. It's a comedy quiz game that challenges you and friends for personal information, find out what you really think about each other. About 1,000 questions where you can reveal your daring side by taking part in doodle challenges and snapping selfies, as they mentioned. But it will be available, full access version, on July 4th.
I'm excited about that. Like, I like little games like that. I know, like, some of you can. It's easy to write that off when you look at it. It looks silly, and it could be terrible. But at the same time, there was this game that came with Move called TV Superstars. Mm-hmm. Did you ever play it?
I've heard of it, but I never did play it.
Dude, we used to play the piss out of that game, and it was a stupid game that was fun. Yeah. And I see that in this new game.
That's You.
That's You. I keep wanting to say This Is You. This is us.
This is us.
But I think we seen a little bit of that at E3 during the show before
the pre-show.
The pre-show, mm-hmm. Yeah. It was asking questions like which one of I guess it showed all the pictures. Which one of these of y'all is more likely to scream if they seen a spider or something like that? And it was just stupid stuff like that. But if you can get, like, that app can totally game shows, that's your buzzer, Family Feud, all different kinds of things you can do with that PlayLink that if they just use it right.
Mm-hmm. There were a few other games that they had listed that I thought I'd bring up just to see what y'all kind of thought about them that are going to be part of this PlayLink, but I don't know when they're going to be available just yet, but they will be part of that later on. The first, and I think they showed this as well during that pre-show, is called Hidden Agenda.
Yeah.
It says it's a narrative-driven adventure that drops you into a detective thriller rife with chilling moral dilemmas that may determine life or death. Up to 6 players can join in to make tough decisions about how the story unfolds, but not all of you will be working toward the same objective. I think that's kind of a neat way because you're not all going the same way. You have different paths.
Right.
And I think they said this is... you'll all have objectives, but sometimes you'll be doing something in secret. Is that correct?
Right, yeah, that's the hidden agenda. Like, everybody has some kind of cards, I guess, and you're trying to... The way I took it was you was trying to curve the story in another way. Mm-hmm. So I guess you, like, look, you got to vote to kill this guy when it gets to where they kill somebody or they run away or something. You have to curve it. And everybody has to figure out who has the hidden agenda.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think Supermassive is making this game, the people that did Until Dawn.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
I do believe that's correct.
Sounds like that game that's out now. I mean, it's called The Towns of Salem. You ever played it, heard of it?
It's not real.
Doesn't ring a bell.
It's an alpha, isn't it?
No, it's been out for a long time. It's like sort of just like that. There's, I think it's like 12 people or whatever all around a little map. Everybody's got their own little job they got to do every day. And, there's good guys and bad guys, and the good guys are trying to find all the bad guys. But at the end of every day, somebody gets voted off the island, pretty much. Somebody gets hung in the middle of the town.
Damn.
But
is it on PlayStation?
No, it's a computer game. It's not like crazy good graphics. It's just like a little.
These games
it's like a text to play game, pretty much.
Unless I can play it.
Anyway, everybody votes on who to get, who they want voted off the island. But also the bad, there's like werewolf. There's like a werewolf, I think, and a serial killer. You know, they can
Frankenstein.
pick somebody just random and just kill them off.
And Van Helsing comes out at the end, and
He might be a
And a
character on there.
G-string.
If you play it, you know.
Well, it sounds
Play on
interesting
her.
nonetheless.
yeah, it
something
does
like
sound
that.
cool. So how
Something
old
like
is
that.
this game?
Oh, dude, it's been out for a few years.
Okay.
Or maybe they're
And
just
it-
taking the idea and trying to improve on
And
it.
it's not like
Just open on Windows Explorer and just go get it.
yeah, it's not like a crazy like high power game. It's like a little flash game, pretty much. You can play it right now on your cell phone probably. Probably got it out now.
No, my battery's down.
Piece of crap.
Well, a few of the others they had, one was called Knowledge is Power, which sounds like another trivia game, which I guess there's a limit to those that you can kind of get to.
Oh,
I
before
don't really
you
feel
go,
like it's...
go on. You remember? Okay, back to the Supermassive thing. You remember when we were watching E3 and they had that game, The Impatience?
Yes.
That is a prequel to Until Dawn.
Oh, nice.
I did read that the other day. I was wondering because we were both like, is that the
Yeah, wondering if that was the same hospital.
the hospital? Yeah, it is. It's the
Nice.
hospital. So I'm wondering if this is the miners. Does that have something to do with the miners
Yeah,
that was
could
in
be.
there? So that's cool. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt
No,
you,
it's
sir.
okay. Knowledge is Power trivia game. Frantics, it says it's an arcade-style fun and manic minigame game. So I'm guessing something like... I don't know what... Fun and minigames. That's what it said. A minigame game. So kind of like... what is that game on Nintendo?
1-2 switch.
WarioWare.
Oh yeah.
Where
Okay.
it was just
Yeah.
constant minigames and you got to just keep playing. Have you ever played
No,
WarioWare?
I've not played
like
any
yeah.
Nintendo games since the.
It was a
Super
Game Boy
Nintendo.
game. Like all the Game Boys, I think had it.
I think there was even a version on the Wii. Yeah,
Probably.
the Wii, and there I know there was one on the Game Boy. It was actually a kind of fun game,
It
you
was
know,
fun.
for what
Dude,
It
I
was-
love mini games.
it's a party game,
Right,
Of
yeah.
just mini games. You
It's
know,
just back, and it's back to back to back to back. I think maybe one little session's 5 seconds long.
Yeah.
That's great though.
And
Because
it's
this,
like boom, next game, boom,
Right.
next game. And it's always something different.
and they'll throw you in the mix of it. It's just like hold this way, or want you to stand this way for 2 seconds, and I don't know, it's just crazy.
Or catch the pin before it hits the ground. And the pin's like this big, and your hand's like huge. You gotta hit the button, stop it, and you
That sounds
always miss.
terrible.
But
It's fun.
it really is fun. You'd be
I'm
surprised.
just kidding. No, I like those guys. I think that's why that game, games like that have emerged more because we have less and less time to do things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always good to get on your console for 5 minutes and you've just played 10 mini games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You actually felt like you done something.
I would like to play with you when this comes out, but your internet's so bad it won't be able to.
Hey, call HughesNet.
Well, the last one that I had listed, which I don't really feel like that I'll even play, is called Sing Star Celebration, and
I am
it sounds like a
singing.
singing game. Use your
all
Sing
these.
Star mic or combine your smartphone with the app and get ready for your big moment.
I mean, I'm waiting for my big moment.
Well, I don't know if I'll play that one
I
because
probably won't
I'm not into singing.
Peyton
least-
will love it.
Oh, she'll go
Yeah.
bat crap banana crazy on that thing.
Yeah.
Bat crap.
Crap banana crazy.
Banana
I
crazy.
said that. It's
Write
copyrighted
that
now.
down. I don't have a pen. Don't actually.
I wrote it down right into the Palm Pilot.
I had wanted to bring up, since it's the end of the month and the beginning of the month is about to pop up, the Xbox games with gold and
What
the
are
PlayStation
those?
Plus. Xbox, they have Grow Home, which is a good indie game we talked about.
Yeah, that's another game that they'll probably trash it, but everybody trashed that game, but it was awesome.
Yeah, it was a fun. If they'd give it a chance, it's got some odd mechanics to it, but it
Right.
can be real fun.
And they had I think they made a sequel to
They
it.
did.
All right.
Grow Up. I
Grow
believe.
Up or something. Yeah, something like
Something like that. Runbow was another one they had. I've never heard of that one.
that. Is that like Dumbo and Rambo had a kid?
You'd think so.
That'd be a
I can't
goofy
remember.
looking character.
I didn't look into it all that much, so I couldn't tell you what it's about. But from what I saw, I kind of shrugged my shoulders, like maybe. I don't know.
I just want to see what the Xbox guys start thinking about this because right now, and they need to do this because they need to. Xbox, I'm talking about Microsoft in general, needs to step back, and they need to start thinking about life after Scorpio or Xbox One X because this thing has no games. They have no first-party games, and this is how you get them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty sad.
You push these indie studios, and sometimes, just like I said before, an indie studio will save your ass 9 times out of 10 if you find the right ones and you talk to them the right way. Sony has it down. I'm hoping Microsoft figures it out because there's a lot of people in studios out there that their game needs to be out there.
Well, I looked up Rumbo while we're sitting there talking about it. It's got 8 out of 10 on Steam. It kind of looks, it's like it's a very indie game. You can tell that for sure if you kind of take a look at some of the character designs.
Hey, that looks like my character for the show I drew.
Some of the characters actually, I think I saw Shovel Knight in there. So I guess it's
there's the dude from Steam Dig.
Yeah.
Steam World Dig or whatever it's called.
Are the characters that I'm seeing there.
Hey, what's his name? Lucha
yeah, the Luchador, yeah. Okay. Well, see, now I'm kind of sold on it.
Yeah, me too, man. I wonder if...
that would be Drinkbox?
Yeah, Drinkbox. So I'm wondering if, Yeah,
if anyone listening, if you've ever played Guacamelee, or if you haven't played Guacamelee, that's a pretty fun game.
This game is on Wii U also.
Like
and they might already been. Like, I don't know. That's just a picture. You know, it could be... That could be a while back. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it definitely could be an old picture, but that's the game that's coming.
Thanks for staying on top of things, Steve.
I'm trying. I want to at least... the next two that they had on the list was Kane and Lynch 2. Did y'all ever play Kane and Lynch? It sounds familiar, but I don't think I ever played
Kane and Lynch. Yeah, I have played both of them. They could have been totally better, but I'm going to be honest, like, they weren't terrible. I remember a scene going through, like, a little Chinese restaurant, and Kane and Lynch is, like, one of them's a cop, and one of them is a psychopath, I think. And they're working together. They're like a team, so. If I remember, I had, like, a shaky cam, and it was kind of intense. Gave me a headache a little bit, but it was cool. I just remember going through this Chinese restaurant, and it was just hectic.
Yeah. The last one they had, Lego Pirates of the Caribbean.
Sold.
Well, okay, going back to Kane and Lynch 2, was that backwards compatible? Was that thing for this month? Because that was
I don't
a 360
know.
game.
If it may have been.
So
I
that
didn't
might be
read that
something-
specifically about it.
Right.
I just knew it was on their list.
Okay, well,
So it could be.
It's a AAA game.
PlayStation, they have Until Dawn, which
Right.
we just mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good game. If I had not bought it, I'd definitely get it.
Definitely. I might
Game
take
of Thrones.
trade it in and
Yeah, I get it.
download it.
Get a little something out of it.
Yeah, get $6.
Of course, everybody else has probably come up with that same idea.
Yeah.
You get it for
I
like
thought
$1.
of it first.
Game of Thrones, so the Telltale games. If you've never played that, it's pretty
Just
solid.
before the series starts. This
Classy.
the 16th this month.
Believe. Yeah. 16th.
Stark family will rise again.
We'll see.
They shall.
We will see.
They shall be free.
The PlayStation 3 games, Tokyo Jungle. Never played.
Now I think that is.
It does sound familiar.
You play as different animals, and you're in like a post-apocalyptic Tokyo. I think.
It did sound familiar. After I thought about it, I was like, maybe I have. I think I read about it. It sounded interesting, but I was not willing to put the money down for it.
It came out early on in the PS3, and I think you probably missed that. So.
Yeah. Darkstalkers Resurrection.
I've
never played Darkstalkers.
Is that's on PS3?
Yeah, PS3. Your PS Vita game is Elemental. Doesn't ring a bell.
No, and one of those games is crossed by the PS4.
Yeah, that's Don't Die, Mr. Robot.
That's right. Yeah.
That's the other Vita game, and that's on PS4.
What if that's any good? Have you played that?
I have not. So,
I like the cross-buy thing.
We'll definitely check it out. I mean, I do check out the Vita games every now and again because you might find something that's worthwhile. Yeah. So, cross-buy or not.
Dude, did you ever play the game? It kind of made fun of Dragon Warrior and Final Fantasy. What was it called? Dragon Fantasy. Did you
I remember you bought it, and I wanted to play it, but I never did.
It was kind of cool, man. It was just like Dragon Warrior.
It's awesome. I love Dragon Warrior.
That was just like both of them. It had, and I don't know, man. It was really just cool. It's been so long since I played it. I would be wrong if I started quoting something from it, but it was great. It just poked fun. It didn't take itself seriously. I love games when they do that the right way.
Well, let's get into our big topic. Today we're going to be talking about Nintendo and what their plans are for their subscription service, whatever that may be.
None.
I know that they have mentioned in the past that they are planning something. They've been setting up where they're condensing everything into one cohesive unit, kind of like Sony and Microsoft have done. So they're setting the table for something. And everyone is kind of under the assumption it's going to be a paid subscription service of some kind like Sony and Microsoft have. However, are they going to emulate Microsoft and Sony, or should they do something different?
I think they are going to do something different. They already have started it or talked about it, and that's the voice chat on your cell phone.
Which is
your smartphone.
That's dumb.
I agree.
To buy
It's-
extra peripherals for something that your controller, that your system can already do, and we know that it can do from other systems, it's a ridiculous concept.
can it do that?
Despite quality, because I know that's what Reggie Fils-Aimé was trying to argue, is that the quality will be so much better. I have no doubt.
What
But-
if your cell service is not good at your home?
Exactly.
You're screwed.
So you're screwed.
Yeah.
Either way you go about it.
I guess you have Wi-Fi, but what if you don't have Wi-Fi? What if you're just hardwired?
There are issues abound.
So they got
So
an auxiliary jack.
something to that effect, where it plugs into your controller, and then it plugs into here, and then into your
Why
jack.
don't they just make like a microphone?
Somebody
don't
even
do
mentioned,
that.
why not Bluetooth? And they just
Bluetooth
said,
would have been a genius idea.
but they said, nope, cell phones are the way to go.
No, it's not.
They'll have to prove us wrong. I'd love to see.
I just don't see it happening. I just
don't
see
either.
They're
how it
also
would happen.
they're using it for parties and everything. Am I right?
Yeah, this is for all their online chat.
I don't understand that.
Doesn't
I mean,
make sense.
maybe it's because it's not built into the Switch because they built the Switch to be portable. But at the same time, my Vita can do it with my PS3
Right.
and my PS4. I can chat through my Vita. If that can do it, this thing can do
And
it.
this
Yeah.
thing's supposed to be entirely portable, so why can't it? I don't even know, like a Wi-Fi connection or something, or Bluetooth. I mean, it has to be able to connect to everything.
It can.
There's a lot of questions that run around in that, and it just doesn't make a lot of sense as to why they would be doing that. But as far as if they're going to offer any kind of, let's say, a $50 yearly fee, if they do that, should they offer up new games? Should they offer up their library? What should they do?
I have heard. I can't remember where I seen this. I want to say that I seen that it was going to be $29.99 for a year. It wasn't going to be much at all. They're going to beat everybody on that price. And my speculation is it's just going to be because it's not going to be as robust as the Xbox Live and PlayStation Network. So, like we just said, everything's going to go through an app on your cell phone. So there's no need for that big network. You already have it through your cell service. So they're also going to offer old virtual console games. But saying that, they don't have a virtual console, and have they not said that they're not going to have one? Have they said that?
They have. I saw it in an interview quoted.
Right.
They have said they're going to have one, and then they've backtracked and said they never said virtual console, even though it has been said.
Right.
My only biggest problem with that is if you're going to offer virtual console games, you have a library.
Yeah.
A huge library of games, whether it be Nintendo, Super Nintendo, 64, whatever.
Right.
I'll just even say, let's just stick with Nintendo and Super Nintendo. They're so old and they're so massive. You give me $50 to play as many of them as I want, I'll pay it.
Right.
But do not give them to me in little spurts. Just give it to me as a whole.
Right.
Because you say, hey, you get Super Mario Brothers for free. So what?
See, that's what they're going to do.
I don't want Super Mario Brothers again. I've played it so many times.
Yeah.
I'm just going to look at it and go, nah.
A lot of people are.
I was gonna say if they do it like PlayStation and Xbox, that's what I guess
do it.
one of the what
You just said they do it.
if they do it at like PlayStation and Xbox. Shut up. They could do that. I mean, they could do the old retro games, Super
Yeah, I
Nintendo.
know. That's the
one
thing.
every month. If it's only $29.99, one a month, that'd be cool.
See, I've heard there's
Download
going
it
to be 2 a
forever.
month, and you can vote on it.
No, I'm just saying like one retro game and one newer game.
Well,
One,
I haven't heard.
Well, they're
anything
going to
about
have to
newer
get a
games.
library of newer games first.
that's one other thing I was gonna say because there's not really any new games they got.
And hopefully, the hope is that throughout the years of the Switch's life, it gets more robust, I guess. So then you can start talking about it. But back to the virtual console that's not a virtual console, they have so many freaking games. They could just roll them out there, dude. Like, even if I know you just said I don't want them all at a little bit of time, but say they offer the free games every month, like Games for Gold and PlayStation Plus. Okay, so how many games do they have that you would want?
Oh,
They
man.
have a ton just a ton.
So many games. It's enough games to get them a good library of Switch games. That's for sure.
Right, but they won't offer those games.
But see, that's why I feel like it's necessary to do it all at once as opposed to spurts, because they are smaller,
Right.
older
Yeah.
games.
Right.
They're not new.
Well, what you're talking about is like PlayStation Now.
Yes.
Okay,
Now, if
so
they did something
that would
like
be
that,
different to me than this thing, because what we're talking about here is an online network to play games and go to a store and buy stuff. Just comparable to just the PS Plus and Games with Gold and the Live
Right.
and the PSN. not counting the now. But yeah, you're right. If they could do that and just rake the money in every month.
Those consoles literally sell themselves for a while.
Yeah.
People go crazy trying to get
Because
one. I would buy one.
Yeah.
Straight out the gate.
Nintendo has one power, and that's the power of nostalgia and how effective it can be.
It is the most effective tool they have,
Yes.
by far.
If they would continue to market on that, they could survive. I think that's still why they're surviving now,
Yes.
unlike Sega, who went under. They're following their footsteps. It's just they have nostalgia in their favor.
You know, Sega screwed up when they rolled out the E3 and they said, here's the Dreamcast, and you can get it tomorrow. And they didn't tell the developers or nothing. They just did that. And the developers were like, oh shit. Okay, our game won't be ready for about 3 months. So they had like 2 games. And that just went under. They screwed their self. Now, that sounds like an awesome idea to do, to walk on stage and say, this will be ready tomorrow.
Yeah.
How many times, like when the PS3, the PS4s get ready to come out, why don't they just come out and say it'll be there tomorrow? That's why.
Yeah.
They don't have any games yet. They just talk about the damn games.
They build up the hype for it.
Sega showed that. So
Sega thought they were being boss right then and there.
That was
just like, hey.
ballsy. And it did not pay off this time.
And that's why no one's going to do it again.
No, and I hope they don't. I don't want to.
It would be cool. If it
would
was
be
just
cool.
rumor for like years, like a year or two. They were rumoring like, well, the PS5's coming out. You heard about the PS5?
Yeah, when's the
And then
release
one-
date?
Huh?
Don't know when
It's
the
like,
PS5
and they
is.
just keep denying, like, nah, we're not really concentrating. You know, it's a few years out. And then 1 year E3, they're just like, oh, by the way, PS5's out tomorrow. Enjoy.
Yeah. Get
People,
yours now.
That place would come apart.
We're giving.
I don't think that
You're
that
gonna
could.
get one. You're gonna get one. You're like damn Oprah rolled out.
But I don't think that could happen today. In this day and age,
No.
they would have to have them at GameStops and WalMarts and wherever you buy your consoles
yeah,
at.
that's true. It would leak out of it.
Oh
it
yeah,
would-
it would
it would
leak
be-
immediately as soon as it
And-
hit the shelves.
But it
My
also have that
God.
mystery factor of like, well, PlayStation never come out and confirmed it, and Sony's never confirmed that yet.
Oh, dude, they would tear freaking GameStop all to pieces.
Yeah, they wouldn't know what to
It would
do.
be
They'd
cool.
have a
Oh, no.
riot on their
They
hands.
throw that damn cage down and quit. We close. 6 people in at a time.
But no, I mean, I don't want Nintendo to fail. I feel like if they fail, the gaming industry won't be the same. But I kind of feel like that they need to amp this up. This is going to be their moment. The Switch needs to be their game changer. Much like the
It has to
Wii
be.
changed the game.
But yeah, they ain't got no choice right now.
The Wii changed the game in a different way. It opened the door to something we never knew existed, which were casual gamers.
Right.
Gamers who just weren't gamers. They just
Right.
liked to play with their control stick. We didn't know that existed.
Play with my controls too.
Good night, everybody.
But now that the hardcore market has kind of stepped in and say, hey guys, that was cool and all, bring it back. We need you to come back.
That's the ones that keep buying the games.
Yeah. And whatever they're doing with this subscription service, whatever it may be, if it doesn't even exist, we're
Right.
just speculating right now, people. We don't know.
Yeah.
But we're
Reggie
kind of
called me.
hoping that there will be something good there that they can bring to the table and it make us enticed to want out and go buy one. I kind of do want to switch, but I don't. I'm very, very iffy about it.
Well, dude, any kind of competition is good because it makes all the other guys take notice and they do something great for all of us.
Yes.
So for me, I like Sony. I don't want Microsoft to go out of business. I don't want them to lay down because all of a sudden then Sony stops being the Sony that we know. They just go to, you might get a game, you might not. No. Here's Dig Dug for the third month in a row on PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, what good would no competition be?
None.
They at that point, everyone stops trying, and we just kind of get into a meh market.
Yeah, that is exactly what it would be.
So
I think Nintendo's biggest problem is they need to quit trying to be so different from everybody else. I get why they do it because they want to be, but sometimes you just gotta take a step back.
yeah, it's
Let's
not a
do
bad
everybody-
thing.
let's do
It's
what
not.
everybody
It's
else
not a
is doing
bad thing,
little
but
bit.
the way they do it sometimes it is.
Yeah, it makes you question what exactly they are thinking.
The
'cause-
Wii U was that time.
Yeah.
That was what the fuck.
because the Switch had that. The Switch is what the Wii U should have been.
Yes.
Right.
They jumped the gun. They should have allowed themselves more time to get this thing ready, as opposed to just shipping it out and saying, "Nah, there you go."
Yeah.
But the idea of the Switch is a great idea. They have to give us something more incentive other than you can just take it with you to go buy it.
Right.
Because I don't have any other incentive other than it's just another portable system, except it's a console.
Right.
It's a good concept, but
Well, they got the marketing and the message right for the Switch. You
They
knew
did.
exactly
Yes.
what it was. Now, the Wii U, I remember people going into stores and like, is this just the Wii? Like, what's the Wii
they
U?
thought that the screen itself was just a peripheral that you buy, which
Right.
if Nintendo was not hell-bent on peripherals for everything,
Right.
maybe people wouldn't have assumed as much.
And that was one peripheral they didn't even want to. You couldn't even get that by itself.
No.
Like if yours tore up, you were screwed. You just had to send it in and spend another $100 to
That's
get it
another
fixed.
one of their problems that they've
Yeah.
got to correct. You cannot keep holding people over barrels with stuff like that. You just
Right.
can't. But hopefully it'll work out in the long run, and maybe I'll buy a Switch. Maybe I'll get back into Nintendo because I do want to play Breath of the Wild.
Sometime.
Oh, I know, dude. I really want to play that game. And I think it's on me being a gamer. It's a crime. I should be arrested that I haven't played it.
Well, that and the numerous other Zelda games you've yet to play.
Like I played Twilight Princess, but I had it on the Wii, and it wasn't good. I didn't get it for the GameCube, and I just at that point, I got to the point where I was not going to do motion controls.
They succeeded better in Skyward Sword because it was made for it, not shoehorned in.
Right. I think that's what I
So-
kind of felt like. The controls were real, just
They were.
shoehorned. Yeah. And we were talking about Nintendo today at work during lunch. The 3DS is another, like, I know the whole talk right now is of their their online thing, but like there's another plan even further out than that they need to talk about, and it is the 3DS. What are you going to do with it?
Exactly, because with a portable console, the 3DS almost becomes obsolete. Now, granted, there are things you can do because you have dual screens, but at what point do the developers just say, well, why don't we just put it over here on your Switch because
Right.
it would be so much easier, and they can still take it with them.
Right.
So why don't we just do that?
That's the thing is, I would
I don't
either.
know. Maybe they were just trying to get rid of the 3DS. I mean, they're just kind
Well,
of.
they did merge their sections, the Nintendo, the console systems and the portable systems. They merged those departments together for this. So is there not now a 3DS department?
No, well, you're seeing what they did. They made the Switch, I think. But
So would you say that the Switch actually spells like the 3DS as we've seen it now? That's going to be it.
I have no clue. I've quit guessing what they're going to do because they don't. I feel sometimes like it's like an old man going through a nursing home. Somebody's holding them by the hand, and they stop off for ice cream, or I'm expecting them to go down and get an X-ray. He stops off for ice cream and a drink of water and takes a piss, and I have no clue what's going on.
Well, I mean, for every crazy thing that they do have a few bright spots. But yeah, I will agree that some of their stuff it's hard to follow them anymore, and I don't really know what they're doing. So
You don't know what they're doing, and that's the problem. Like with the 3DS, why would you have the 3DS and not? I don't know. I was under the assumption like the Switch would get rid of 3DS.
yeah, I mean, it seems like it's on the path to do so. I would believe that's going to be the takeaway. At some point, you're going to have to see a drop in sales somewhere. And I really feel like it would be at the 3DS because if I have something I can take with me that's my console, why would I need another portable device?
Right, and I understand marketing and trying to get the most money you can out of 3DS. I guess that's what they're doing, but at the same time, if you make a game for the 3DS, you need to make it for the Switch also.
And I also realize that there are different types of games, but when you really look at it, there are not that many that really utilize that second screen like they should.
Right.
Some games are very smart about it. Nintendo, obviously, they're like, yeah, we've got two screens, we're going to use two screens.
Right.
But not all developers are keen on that. They
No.
just say, well, we'll just slap something down here like an inventory
They're
or a
lazy.
map, and that can be good, but I mean, nothing you can't already have on a console.
Right. See, I've never been big on the 3DS because it's too. I know it's not gimmicky, but to me it feels gimmicky. It's like here's a stylus, poke around on the bottom. It's not fun to me.
There are a lot of games that I feel like can work on consoles. I know a great example of that. A game that I just got for the Vita, and the very first title in the series I actually played on 3DS. What do they call it? They call it the Nonary games. I don't know if you've heard of those or not.
God, I think you played it.
9 people, 9 callers, 9 doors, or something like that. It's the first game.
Yeah. Okay, I've heard of it. It's on iPhone. Is it not? Is it on iPhone also?
I believe it is.
Okay.
Now, the very first time I played it was on 3DS, but it was just dialogue and screen. So it really didn't add anything. I mean, I guess it decluttered the screen.
Right.
But that was it. But now they have it on, they moved it over to Vita. Looks so much better on the Vita. I mean, it really did. Far and away, it just looked so much better.
Right.
Crisp, as far as graphics are concerned. But now they've moved all those games. They're all out on the Vita, and now they're on the PlayStation 4.
Right.
They may have redesigned it a little bit to kind of make it work on a console, but they're there. So you can do it there. It can still work. The Switch is to be the same way. You can, port all those games right over to the Switch. It's still going to work. So it's not as if these games are dependent on a handheld in that way, in that manner, of 2 screens.
It's just Sony. I feel like Sony figured it out with the Vita. Everything that comes to the Vita comes to the PS4. I mean, it's just the best of both worlds. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work as good as the Switch does as far as the taking it with you. I don't feel, because sometimes you got to have, and it really gets on my nerves, you got to have an internet connection to get the licensing and all that kind of crap. I hate that.
Yeah, that is one of those.
It's catch-22 kind of thing, But still, we're not going to see the full Switch potential until the 3DS is gone, I think.
Well, I really hope that they figure out what they're going to do. If they have plans for the 3DS and it can coincide with the Switch, and they can live in harmony together, fine. But I just don't see it happening. I cannot see it being feasible in the long run.
I mean, this is the one time where you're like, we always talk about they love peripherals. Mm-hmm. Why did they not make a brand new 3DS that worked with the console that you couldn't take anywhere? But this 3DS was just like that console on the move. That's what they should have done. Yeah,
that would have been that'd have been pretty clever. You may have just given them $1 million idea, and they're going to steal
$1 million idea.
$1 million. My words got caught.
What I just want to know, if Peter from Family Guy, what would he think about Nintendo's strategy?
I'll be honest with you. I really do not give 2 shits about Nintendo, because I don't play video games. Chris, he may be playing them, but I normally hear just a bunch of noise up in his room, and it's not good. It's a lot of beating and bopping, and I have no idea what he's doing up there anymore. So what does Peter think about Nintendo? I do not care. No one cares.
That was impressive.
There you have it. Straight from Peter's mouth.
In his ass.
All right, guys. Let's move on to our mystery retro review, because I love keeping you guys in suspense.
Yeah, I asked you at lunch, hey, what's the retro game?
No, I'm not going to tell you, because I want to see if you'll get excited. I want to see if you get excited. Are you ready to get excited? Maybe you will, maybe you won't.
Do I need to stretch for this?
I don't think so.
John hadn't said anything in 10 minutes.
I'm just listening, man.
Now, see, John, just like last time, just like Faxanadu, I don't think John will know what this one is, but
Probably
he've heard of it. He may have heard of it.
Maybe.
If I have to talk, you have to talk.
I'm getting ready to talk right now.
He can let you know what he thinks about
just
how it sounds.
everywhere.
Yeah.
All right. Karnov.
Corn dog.
Karnov. Does that name?
Karnov.
Karnov. It's Russian.
It's Russian.
Russian.
Karnov.
Does that not ring a bell? This is
is this on Nintendo?
It was an arcade game, but it came to Nintendo.
Do you have a picture?
I do not, but let me describe it to you.
Sentence.
Let me describe it to you, so maybe it'll ring a bell. This was released in 1987 on the arcade. It was a platforming arcade game. You take control of the title character Zhinborov Karnovsky, or Karnov for short. He's a bulging muscled,
He's a cop.
fire-breathing East Russian ex-circus strongman hero. Does that sound familiar at all?
No.
Okay, you are on a quest through 9 different levels to search for the ultimate treasure. Between him are horrendous monsters, including sword-wielding monks, dinosaurs, djinn, hopping fishmen, gargoyles, tree monsters, will-o-wisps, rock creatures, centipede women, and ostrich-riding skeleton warriors.
I want to meet the centipede women.
Karnov can walk, jump, and shoot to make his way through these levels and find special items that help him. This might be where you'll remember. There are little blocks in the sky. It could be a letter K, which if you collect all the letter Ks, you get an extra life. Or you'd see a little orb, and that would help increase your fire-breathing potential.
It looks like the Iron Sheik.
Let me see it.
You found it. Okay, see, John, that's why John is
Oh,
off.
shit.
Karnov.
I do remember that.
See?
Yeah.
Karnov.
Karnov. I remember it.
But you
Yay.
you can
Reminds
find...
me of Rygar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of. You got jump boots where you can run faster and jump higher. You got bombs where you can kill enemies and reveal secret passages. There's a ladder. I always remember the ladder. It would just go right on
It
up.
would do what?
And you just climb it. There are boomerangs, fireballs, wings, scuba helmet. The scuba helmet was very interesting because he's a Russian strongman in a time that does not look like scuba helmet should exist, but yet there they are.
I like when he's climbing this tree. It looks like he's humping the tree.
But your red orbs, your trolleys, your shields, all this other stuff. When you acquired the red orbs, Karnov would upgrade and shoot 3 fireballs at a time. The end of each level had about 1 or more bosses which he had to defeat to get a new treasure map to help him on his quest. Now, the Nintendo version, which is the one I remember the most, I really don't remember it in arcade at all. It came out in 1988, still by Data East, which... Do y'all remember Data East? Do you remember?
I do remember Data East.
They had a very interesting selection of games. I think Bad Dudes was one of them.
Yes, I remember that game.
Funny enough, Bad Dudes was a game in which he was a boss. Now, not the original. I don't think it was the original. I think it was Bad Dudes versus Dragon Ninja was the name of the game. But he was a boss in the first level. But in the NES version of the game, which is what I remember, there were some differences from the arcade game, which... From the looks of the pictures you got over there, that's what you're looking at. He had to take 2 hits to die instead of 1 because obviously in the arcade you want as many quarters as you can and 1 hit would do it. Now, if you remember correctly, he turned blue when you got hit. Do you remember that? He kind of had a reddish tint, and then if you got hit, he turned blue.
And this is in Karnov.
Yeah, in the NES version. You remember that at all?
I kind of do, dude. It's been so long.
That let you know that you're
About
on
the-
death's door.
Right, yeah.
The super fireball was replaced with a spike bomb, which destroys every enemy on the screen on the NES version. Levels 4 and 8 were different than the arcade versions. The final boss was not a wizard like it was in the arcade, but was a 3-headed dragon.
They had to step up their game
Yeah,
on the
they
console.
did. And the NES provides unlimited continues, and it also allows Karnov to be killed when both the A and B buttons were pressed on a second controller.
Oh my god,
Oh
they
my
went
gosh,
straight
why
Metal
would you
Gear
want
on
to
them.
kill a Karnov?
So your little brother could walk in and step on a controller and piss you off?
Start all over.
That just seemed like a fight waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Why would you do that? Because, see, I remember, I don't know if you guys ever remember Mega Man 3, there was a glitch on that using the second controller that if you had, and it was funny as a kid when you learned this and you didn't have someone to help you out, what you would do to make this glitch happen. On Mega Man 3, if you had a second controller plugged in, and I think if you held right on the control pad and you fell into a pit, you would not die. You could jump right back out and just keep going. It would act like you died, like you could actually hear the music, the sound happen, but nothing would happen. And then you could jump right back out of the pit and just keep playing. So I would have my big toe on the controller while I'm playing, just to make it through. Because Mega Man 3 was a pain, man. But anyway, he was reintroduced in several other games in the company of Data East, like
Fighters
Bad Dudes versus
History.
Dragon Ninja. Huh?
Was he in Fighters History?
He was in, yes, he was. Fighters History Dynamite. It was not a sequel to the original Karnov, but he was in it. It was a one-on-one fighter, which he was the final boss.
Yeah.
And one thing I found interesting, little tidbits, because I'm sitting here talking about what I reminisce about the game, because I remember playing it, I remember liking it, but I will complain. The game itself, normally a lot of games, they had a variety of music that went through their game. This game had one tune. Every level. Every single level. Maybe the boss fight at the end was a different tune, but the rest of the game, that was it. And when you beat the game, guess what you got?
The same song.
No, you got congratulations at the end. That was it. That was the ending.
You are the winner is you.
Pretty much, except you don't have the guy standing and looking. It was just a black screen that says congratulations, you win the end. It's kind of a middle finger.
That's what I would just cut
9
the
levels
string
of that, and that's all you get. This had one of those mechanics that I hated in games, and maybe you remember this. Remember in old Nintendo games, if you fell or tried to fall, you couldn't control your fall. You just went straight down.
out. Yes. I hate that.
This was one of those games that did that, and it was just, mind
If you
limit.
didn't jump, you wasn't.
Yeah, you're just
couldn't control
screwed. You
it.
just,
Yeah, you was like a rock.
yeah. So that was one of those frustrating things that this game did.
Time your jump just right. Off
You
the edge
had to.
went. And it wasn't no like diagonal fall. It was just straight.
And I'm not saying this game is a classic by any means, but I do have fond memories of playing it. I remember playing it a lot as a kid, and I thought I'd bring it up and see if you guys would remember it because
I struggled remembering it, but as soon as I seen the cover shot of it, I remembered it because it reminds me of Rygar. You remember that game?
I remember Rygar. That should be another. You should do that one.
Yeah.
That should be your retro review.
I shouldn't do that. If I did a retro review, it would be freaking pro wrestling. Do you remember that game?
Yes, I do.
Dude, that was so good. Dude,
Do your
Starman.
review right now.
Do what?
Do it right now.
Nah, I don't. Yeah, I'm gonna say that for later.
Yeah,
date.
save it for later because we'll do one at a time and
Alright.
maybe allow him to get some notes together. I actually had some good notes.
Yeah. And next time you think that you run the podcast, John,
I was just throwing
think
an
again.
idea.
Just
Man.
pitch it out there. Well, guys, I think we've pretty much covered anything, unless y'all can think of anything that we may have forgotten.
Can't think. Well, I mean, go buy Crash Bandicoot. When you hear this, it'll be Monday,
Insane
and
trilogy.
it had come out on June 30th
Hearing it's pretty solid.
today on Friday.
pretty
yeah,
cool.
really good reviews on it.
Very
I'm
good
happy.
graphics.
Very happy that it's getting good reviews. You know, if somebody spends their time to remake a classic like that, it needs to be good, and it sounds like they did that.
When you remake a game, it's not like simple like putting in the old game in there. You gotta
Yes, it
completely
is.
do everything.
No, they just
Unless
pretty
you do
much-
something like Another World, it's a painted coat, but still
that
has
was
the.
still fun though. Why did
It's,
that game
yeah,
held up?
I will
so
agree.
good?
I will agree.
It is still as hard and just.
It's got
I
those
cussed.
very realistic controls, but it's
Yes.
still fun.
So man, dude, like those fucking worms. It would come up and scratch your arm and you'd die.
And that was it.
Yeah.
That's all you heard.
Yeah. God, that and the rock part where the rocks fall and you're running through the cavern.
You have to be so precise.
But that game is so fun.
Yeah, it is. I've played it numerous times.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
one of those I'll play again and again and again.
Yeah. What I liked about that, you could take that on the Vita. Am I right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
think
was
I
a
watched you
crossbar
play
all
it
the way.
on the Vita. It worked really good on the Vita. Looked good too.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, but we do appreciate all of you who are listening, whether it be through iTunes, Google Play Music, or even Podbean, our new hosting website that allows you to download our podcast and listen whenever and wherever. Please feel free to like our episodes if you enjoyed them, and even leave us a comment, good or bad, to let us know how we're doing. The only way we can improve is if we know we need improving. You can also leave us comments on our Facebook page. Look us up under Super Mega Crash Brothers, like our page, and start a conversation. Tell us what you want us to talk about, and we'll discuss it on our next episode.
Start a topic. I say it every week. Nobody started a topic. I'm really starting to get mad.
Yeah, all it would take is just say, hey guys, what do you think about this? And we'll bring it up. We'll even talk about it on the show. We'll use it as a jumping off point. We need
want
topics.
An Ask John. That I'm pushing for Ask John. I want you to ask him anything.
Ask
how to
me
make
anything. I'll give you
cornbread.
life advice.
Yeah,
You live a long, healthy life. You do
you've
exactly
lived
what I
5
say.
years. 5 years, and you're gonna give somebody
He
advice.
says 5. I say 10. I can give you 10 extra years in your life if you just do everything I do.
John, I don't like you.
What a wonderful time.
You
asked
see
John.
that llama right there? I like that llama better than you.
Man, that llama ain't got shit
The
on me.
audience can't see the llama. They'd have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, if you're Patreon, we'll put a picture of the damn llama.
That's right. If you want to go to patreon.com/pencilpaperproductions and give us a little bit of money, $1 will do it, and we'll send you a picture of a llama.
$1 will get you the picture. $2 will get you a picture of a baby llama. I got
about
one of
that?
them.
We got baby llamas out here.
Yeah.
You see that? It all costs you just $1 a month, and you get llamas. That's what we can offer you.
Yes, llamas for content. And you're green. Money. Thank you for the
It's
money.
awesome. Yeah.
And we got $4
Can't
this
go
week.
wrong with that.
Whoever gave us $4, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You made a little girl's Christmas.
Well, it was $5.
$5.
We
You
got
helped me
three.
out, too.
We have
Thanks. I
three
got some
patrons
gum.
at $5, and then we got one at $1.
Yeah, that's
So-
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
I
And
don't
you know,
like-
I'm gonna say this. I haven't really had a chance to sit on an open forum and say this. If you're listening here and you've been debating on giving to Patreon, $1. even $1 says that you believe in us enough that you want to give something, even if it's just $1. And it does go a long way. If we had 100 people giving us $1,
That's $100.
exactly. This could fund our podcast for an entire year. Did you ever think about that? No. But I'm letting you know.
Yes, and I will let you know after that he is done letting you know that would fund our podcast. I'm letting you know too.
Yeah.
John, do you want to let them know?
Y'all know.
John,
Y'all
you know
definitely
what the hell
know by
he's
now.
Talking about.
Yeah. So we've made a point. But guys, I enjoy.
Wait, I want to ask John a question.
Oh,
Oh boy.
John,
come up with this before I
what
get
does
ready to
a
sign off.
I know, but I just thought of it, and just roll with me here.
Go ahead.
What does a bobcat sound like? That's this week's Ask John.
This will give you a taste of what to look forward
Yeah,
to. If
I
you'll
don't
just
care what
ask
you
John
ask
a
him.
question.
If you've never heard of bobcat, or if you don't know what, first off, if you don't know what a
Please
bobcat
get a
is,
picture of this for Patreon.
picture of what? Oh,
A
you
nice
want to take a
video.
video?
I
No,
want
go
to
ahead,
see.
go ahead.
I want to see the video.
If you don't
of
know what
doing-
a bobcat is, I want to let you know what a bobcat is right now. Bobcat is picture like your normal house cat at about 4 inches to height.
Yeah,
About
probably
10 pounds
no tail,
and no tail, and it looks like I guess like a leopard.
like a baby tiger.
Yeah, like a baby leopard tiger, something like that. But if you want to know what it sounds like. Now imagine hearing that in the middle of the 3 o'clock in the morning, pitch black outside, and you have no idea where that's coming from. That was me yesterday morning. Scared me to death.
Thank you. That was Ask John for this.
Our very first Ask John. We now know what
Didn't
a
that just
bobcat
add 10
sounds
years
like.
to your life?
No,
You don't feel younger?
John.
You are
He's trying to close the show.
But anyway, guys, thank you for listening to the podcast. We love to hear from you. Any comments, questions that you have. Definitely come back next time. Join us again on Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I have been Stephen White.
I have been Todd Stark,
I am John Taylor, Bobcat Whisperer.
Bobcat Goldthwait over here.
And we enjoy having you here. So until next time, guys, game on.